For full details of the latest value and offers available, visit skybet.com/RUK. Sky Bet. It matters more when there's money on it.
Well, Sligo Girl is running in our 6:20 at Newmarket, and this happened a few moments ago. She got loose out on the course. Hannah Nunn trying to get on board, and she has been withdrawn now from this 6:20 contest. So she's not taking part. Number 9, Sligo Girl, out. So that leaves 8 others going to post over 6 furlongs for this 2-year-old maiden. Justinio is 5-4. 7-4 Grizzle, Go Dutch 8-1. 11 Sand Between Your Toes, Philipstown 16s, 25s Queen Sandridge, Stormbelt 33s, Voodoo Rhythm 66s.
Well, as promised, we'll get a synopsis from Paul about his thoughts on these runners in the paddock. Paul, you had a closer look at them.
Yeah, I like Justineo a lot. Looks a compact, typical sort of sprinting type. He just bumped into one, Saigon. I mean, who's gone on and won a listed race. They pull well clear of the third, and I think he's probably the most likely winner of this. Grizzle, bit keen early, very green, but again ran an absolute stormer behind another useful horse, Diamond Head, here, so he's got track knowledge. I just still think he looked a tad on the weak side still, still growing.
And you mentioned Grizzle in comparison to his stable companion, number 7, Storm Belt, who you thought was quite a nice looking type.
A lovely looking type. I think the drop back in trip will suit this horse. He's friendless in the market, but at 33-1, I think that's too big for a horse. He patently, I think, will be suited by the 6 furlongs rather than the 7 he ran over last time. He's a good-looking horse, and they have a good record here, this yard. And Ahmed Adjabi, he rides this track particularly well.
Just spin through a few of the others. Slightly bigger prices. Philipstown and Sand Between Our Toes. How did they look to you in the paddock? And certainly both of them have some big race entries.
Yeah, Philipstown, lovely individual. I just thought on pedigree 6 furlongs looks a little bit on the sharp side. I'd be watching him when he steps up in trip, but a real nice individual. Sand Between the Toes, useful effort on debut here. Back in May, disappointing when favourite at Doncaster next time. That was too bad to be true. He needs to get back on an even keel here. He's quite a nice looking individual, but again another one I slightly on the weak side.
Yeah, Brian Meehan had a lovely 2-year-old make his debut at Sandown a couple of days ago, of course, Archbishop. This will shed a lot of promise first time out, and as you say, has to come back from a disappointing run at Doncaster when he was favourite. Just take us through Justinio, because he's got some serious entries from William Haggis's stable. Millreef, Dewhurst, Jim Crack, Middle Park, National Stakes. Do you pay much attention to that, Paul, when you're assessing form of 2-year-olds?
I do, actually. I like to look at their entries because it gives you a sort of slight into their profile of how the trainer feels. In his eyes, he'd like them to progress. And if they have none, they're obviously just another. Yeah. But with these fancy entries, he's a beautifully bred horse, but with these fancy entries, there must be something that's telling them that, he could go up that route. Also, he was backed as if defeat was absolutely out of the question at Yarmouth, but as we say, you just don't know what's lurking in these maidens, and there was a lurker.
And as you also reminded us, those front 2 pull, Ahmed Tebi has been deposited by Storm Belt, but the horse has been
cut at that railings, didn't he? Just thought he might just jump those for a minute, but luckily he was caught by a handler. No damage done. He'll be remounted, and hopefully we'll load them up pretty sharpish.
Ahmed Ajtabi's okay. We might have
be okay.
Just see what happened. What caused? It might have just been the stalls, but
I think he reared over back. Did he have a little rear over back because he tried to go in and then he's? Yeah, that's exactly what he's done. And he's decided, I think I better.
Been a lot worse. That
could have been if he'd come all the way over. That's what you dread, and they land on top of you. But no damage done. He still looks quite relaxed, this horse. But let's see how he goes in the stalls.
We haven't mentioned Go Dutch and Queen Sandridge. Go Dutch has entered in the Redcar Tyrrell Trophy from a stable whose Tyrrells have done very well from a small selection so far.
Yeah, quite a neat, compact sort. He's a £27,000 yearling. Dan was listed placed, half-brother to 6 winners, including Peach Pearl, who was a 6 furlong listed winner, rated 98, and Captain Royal, also a 6 furlong, rated 86. Soul of Love was a miler, 78. That's 3 of the siblings. So plenty of winners in the pedigree, plenty of speed in the pedigree, and this yard, generally, the market talks.
Queen Sandridge is already in, last of 9 on his debut at Windsor. Oh, that's sand between our toes. Shane Kelly has held on to him, and he's still messing about. And he's just given Stormbelt a little clatter. Oh dear.
My God, in a small field at Newmarket of these horses.
Well, we had the betting up, so we might take another look at it.
Let's have a crack at that for the time being. Something else might happen before too long.
He was actually in the stalls.
Yeah, although they hadn't just got him in, had they? No, it was just... He's bowled the stall hander over as well.
Well done, Shane Kelly, whipping that blindfold.
Yeah, that's a good call, because once they get loose with those on, especially in the open plains of Newmarket, anything can happen. You see him in the town centre within half an hour.
He's still on his toes, sand between our toes.
He looks a little bit of a character, a bit of a boyo, this horse.
Yeah.
He's not giving him any... He's not giving him a chance to sort of get himself on top of the game.
No. OK, well, we were intrigued by this race because of some of the big connections and some of the decent pedigrees here, but what we are noticing now, Paul, is that there are some very inexperienced horses here.
Inexperienced horses showing signs of temperament as well, so just keep an eye on these two going in, because they didn't want to go in last time. This horse has been blindfolded, sand between the toes. I wonder what they'll do. Blindfold's not being put on this time. And we've also got
Grizzle having a whizzle.
Yeah. Well put, Rich. Well put. And Stormbelt has got to go into stall 1. Stormbelt's been drawn on the wide outside the last 2 times, so it really hasn't helped him. You know, it's so much better if you're drawn in the middle of a field, so you can get a bit of company, get a horse tucked in, get them racing. He seems to have been on the outside his last 2 times, which can't have benefited him. But I think at 33 to 1, he'll run. I think he'll belie those odds. I don't think he'll win, but I think he'll belie those odds.
OK, Voodoo Rhythm is the other one waiting to load up, beaten in a couple of runs, and from also the Brian Meehan stable. Can't really fancy that tonight.
No, shown precious little in 2 starts to date, over 7 furlongs, drops in trip. He was unruly in the stalls last time. I hope he hasn't had a go as well. He's in. No, but I think sand between the toes is just showing distinct signs of temperament.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let's stay with it, because now going forward is Stormbelt, who's also been messing about down to the start. Didn't fancy it.
It's also much easier to load horses when they're, you know, from the side. When there's a gap, when you're the last one and there's open spaces to your right, sometimes horses just don't like that. They rather be walking towards other horses.
OK, so he's in, Voodoo Rhythm in.
Well, I would think they just...
Grizzle's in. Well, let's go up and join Tomo for this maiden and say good evening as well. Hi, Tomo.
Nice to see you again. Was it 24? Are you following me or am I following you? But it's good to be here again after Epsom last night, Newmarket tonight. Frankie's going in on Grizzle. Good to see Frankie. 4 winners so far at Glorious Goodwood, including the Goodwood Cup. Now, are they going to go without sand between your toes? Yes, they are. They're going without sand between your toes. They're off. They're racing. Just 7 runners. The light blue, Philipstown. In the white colours of the purple clap, Voodoo Rhythm. In the yellow cross belts, Queen Sandridge. These are the 3 at the head of affairs. Against the rails, Go Dutch in the yellow colours. In the sheepskin noseband, Stormbelt. Keeping that company is the odds-on favourite in the dark green, Justinio. Frankie is the back marker on Grizzle. Coming down now with 4 furlongs left to run. Against the rails, Philipstown. In the purple cap, Voodoo Rhythm. And in the cross belts, Queen Sandridge. Here come the 2 Godolphin horses up on the outside. In the white cap, we've got Stormbelt. In the blue cap, that's Grizzle. And now switch towards the left. The odds-on favourite, Justinio. There's 6 in line with 2.5 left to run in this Russian Standard Vodka European Breeders' Fund Stakes. Here comes Justinio on the left. Here comes the odds-on favourite. He's come from last to first. Frankie sits off in pursuit with Grizzle on the far side. Philipstown stays on in good style. Justinio has the lead. In the yellow colours, Go Dutch is staying on as well. Half a furlong left to run. Justinio has the lead. Go Dutch is the danger stand side. Philipstown back in third. It's the favourite. Justinio wins the races. In second place, Go Dutch. Third on the far side, Philipstown. And just fourth, Grizzle.
The favourite obliges. Justinio, at the third time of asking. This horse with some fancy entries has won under Jamie Spencer. It was pretty comfortable. Jamie sent him on a significant way from home, but he's shown a good attitude, knuckling down to the task ball.
Yeah, I think he idled in front, but interestingly, he's got a lot of pace, this horse, and for a moment he was just trying to angle out, and Frankie, we'll see in a minute, just says, no, you're not coming out this time. So he had to just ease back and then come right round his field. A much, much better performance by Philipstown. He's a nice big individual, this. Just keep an eye on him for the future. I think he's got promise. Definitely. Go Dutch, newcomer. Very promising run from that. Stacks of winners in the pedigree. Plenty of speed in the pedigree. You just watch here on the outside. Frankie's just cottoned on to the fact Jamie wants to come on his inside and get up with the pace, but he says, no, I'll go there, not you. But Jamie's bided his time. He's come round the field. It's actually made the performance a little bit better, but he does travel really sweetly. And I just have a feeling he might be even better back at 5, you know, this horse, because of a really fast gallop. He's got to turn a foot. Jamie's committed him because he has to here. I think he realises I'm on the best horse in the race. There's no messing around. And I think, to be honest, he's just idle when he's hit the front. He's met the rising ground here, and he's had to give him a couple of smacks, but he's always in command, and the others are really just plodding on up the hill. But a good performance by Go Dutch. That'll be a very pleasing first run. And some late headway, I think it is, by Voodoo Rhythm late on. Disappointments. Well, I have to say Stormveld, very disappointing. Now he'll have to drop into nurseries. He's had his 3 runs. But the winner's on a win, back on an even keel now, on a winning trail. Interesting to see where he goes. But I would think he's got possibilities to drop back to 5 because he does travel so well. Was Grizzle disappointing for you as well? He was, yeah. Different tactics this time. First time out he was ridden up with a pace. Frankie dropped him in probably to educate him. But as I said to you before, and I thought he looked just a little weak. He's growing, and you know that's found him out here. Smart performance by the winner in this grade. As Paul says, he's got lots of pace. The runner-up, Go Dutch, from the very much informed Roger Varian stable. All his 2-year-olds are worth watching. He had a second earlier in the week at Sandown, a second here tonight. He had that very nice 2-year-old Ektihan win the other day. Got to keep an eye on anything he runs. But this horse, Justinio, at the third time of asking, he's got some fancy entries. He's put it away quite comfortably. Tell you what, he's paid a compliment to Saigon as well, hasn't he? James Toller will be licking his lips as he pulls away in the closing stages. Jamie Spencer has to keep up to his work, as Paul's suggesting as well. He's probably just idling a little bit. Yeah, he wears a cross noseband, but you know, I think he just has a very high cruising speed. It's going to be interesting to see what William Haggis, you know, does with him, because he's adaptable now. I'm sure he could drop him back in trip, but we know he gets a stiff 6, as he's proved tonight. So options open for him. Angus with the SPs.
Yeah, Justinio, even money favourite. Go Dutch 6-1 in second. I was quite impressed with Justinio. He's certainly got plenty of speed. 7 right. And the time, 1:13:47. 3.27 outside stand.
For full details of the